What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from MTGHeadQuarters, and I thought I would share my opinion on the modern Eldrazi menace, as it also begins to leak into standard more and more with each new week that goes by. And a lot of people ask me what I think about it, or when will this card get banned or that card get banned. And to be honest, I hope none of it gets banned. I love it. This is freaking compelling. I mean, it seems like, as even just a casual modern player, that it's the same freaking 5 decks all the time. You know, it's like Affinity, Tron, Infect, Burn. I mean, it's just like the same stuff over and over and over again. And then it was Splinter Twin until that ban. And as somebody on the outside looking in, it makes Modern incredibly boring to me. What I like about the Eldrazi problem in Modern is that it's got a lot of people talking about Modern. I think it's a great thing for the format. I think it makes it a little more accessible, as big pieces of these Eldrazi decks are available, or many pieces of them are available, although the prices are quickly rising because there's so many variants of the deck. At one point, my argument would have been that these are an affordable way to get into Modern, but some of these variants are getting pretty expensive. I think it gives the format kind of like an evil boss, somebody that we can see each week. I find myself checking in with every major event, checking to see, boy, I wonder if somebody beat Eldrazi. As a self-proclaimed anti-islandist, I found myself cheering for decks like Merfolk, because Merfolk has a pretty good matchup against decks like Eldrazi. Unfortunately, it's not the best matchup against a lot of the other popular decks. But another thing I like about it is it makes Modern a lot easier to watch. What I mean is, as kind of a casual modernist, boy, I'm making up words left and right here, I like watching cards I know and I understand and that I'm familiar with. And when it's a bunch of decks with obscure random old cards, while I do like that, and I like that that's a part of the format, it's also easier for me to see, if one person's playing Eldrazi and I understand how all those cards function, and the other person's playing some brew, I can focus on understanding that other person's cards rather than seeing a matchup where I don't understand either player's decks or necessarily what they do. And as you guys know, even though I play a lot, I'm still a casual, or I'm still pretty new to constructed play. I don't play constructed competitively, although I do play it quite a bit on stream now. And another thing I like about Eldrazi in Modern is that it's actually quite interactive. It's way more interesting for me to watch than watching Bloom go off and having some turn 2 kill, or these combo decks where you're playing basically solitaire. To me, that's not Magic. I know to people that like combo decks or like to win that way, it's fine for them, and that's why it's called an opinion, not a fact, right? And for those who complain about, oh my God, X percentage of the format is Eldrazi, I feel like that statement's pretty misleading. Like, there may be 3 or 4 Eldrazi archetype decks, but there are always several different variants of each one. I mean, there's UR Eldrazi, there's colorless Eldrazi, there's red-green Eldrazi, there's black-white Eldrazi. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. And so if you don't lump all Eldrazi decks into Eldrazi, the deck, from my memory, is about as, just as diverse, if not more, than it's ever been. It's not unbeatable. Tribal decks, for example, like Merfolk, do really well against it. And there are other versions of Eldrazi decks that can come about. I just think, Magic players, a lot of us, we don't like change. And we tend to be reactive. And I'm guilty of that as well, too. But, my experience with people that play Modern is generally pretty negative. All I ever hear them talking about is complaining about whether or not this card or that card should be banned. This is the extent of conversation I have about Modern, and it should be about playing the game and the meta and things like that, right? So for like the past month, all anyone's been talking about is how, Ivugan and Temple needs to get banned, or, what should get banned, Eldrazi Mimic that. People are freaking out for emergency bans. And quietly, the format is more interesting, at least to me. Now, I know for grizzled old pros, like a lot of them were whining after the Pro Tour about Eldrazi, but I don't really care about pros. I mean, I don't really care that the exact same deck you've been playing for the past 5 years that's completely uninteractive and totally linear in form and boring doesn't work anymore. I don't care. I feel way worse about people that are affected by bans. Things like people that spend a lot of money building Splinter Twin, having to suffer a ban that, negates 50% of their investment. The lands are so good, but a lot of cards in that deck plummet in value, and this is just regular hardworking people losing money. And I definitely get behind that. But I really don't care if pros are whining about having to face Eldrazi. Deal with it. You're a pro. You get flown out to events. You have access to all the cards. You have, privileges that 99% of other Magic players don't have. So I don't really care if you can't play. If your Tron deck's no good anymore. I don't care. And I know this opinion might rub some people the wrong way, but as I'm getting back into Modern and thinking about what deck I want to build, now I've had 3 decks. I've had Aura Hexproof, which is kind of a D deck too. I have had Burn, and I also played Infect. 3 different decks in Modern. I had to sell them all to afford the move back to Wisconsin, but I'm thinking about getting back into Modern, and I'll probably build some brew of Eldrazi. Because I already have a lot of the cards, right? So I already have like the Reality Smashers and the Thought-Knot Seers and the Vile Aggregates and the Sky Spawners. Whatever I want is there. Or maybe Burn. I'm not sure yet. But hey, let me know. Eldrazi or Burn? Probably Burn, because I'm sure Eldrazi will get hit with some sort of ban. But I don't think it will cripple it completely. And to those who would think, like, Wizards saw this coming and wanted Eldrazi everywhere, and that's why they're not banning anything. I think actually the cooler heads prevailed here, and that Modern is very interesting to me right now. And it just flat out isn't interesting to me when it's the same 3 decks every single week. I think it's better for the game that people can now, can open a lot of Modern staples out of the most recent set, which is kind of hilarious to say. I mean, how long has it been since you could, bust a pack and have commons, in an Oath of the Gatewatch draft, you could quite literally get 3 to 4 cards to build your Modern deck. Like, this is awesome. This is how it should be, in my opinion. You get lucky, you open a Thought-Knot Seer, you get a Sky Spawner, a Vile Aggregate, some waste mana, maybe you get 5 or 6 cards for your Modern deck. I think this is awesome. Instead of having to go spend $800 all at once to build a deck, you can draft your way into a large portion of it and only have to buy some of the more expensive cards or the cards that are not currently being printed. For the most part, I can't go and open anything in Tron. I can't open anything in Burn. I can't open anything for Infect. Although Slip Through Space, I think that card I am playing in my Pauper Infect deck, and I'd probably play it in my Modern one if I rebuilt that. But I don't think this was a part of any kind of Wizards conspiracy. They're just not smart enough for that. And I don't think they care that much about selling packs. We see that with limited print run products and all that stuff. I mean, obviously they want to make money, but I think getting players like me more interested in Modern, making the format a little more accessible, is a huge plus. And I really am happy that there was no emergency ban. I think Wizards was very smart to just let things shake out. And this is what we do as Magic players, right? Every time a new card comes out, it's like, oh, new Jace sucks. Oh, new Jace. Oh, can't play it in Modern. Blows. Not standard playable. Sucks. And it's like, the percentage of competitive players is like this, and the percentage of everyone else is like, this. I mean, this game is for everyone. It's hard to make everyone happy. But for one, I'm glad that there was no emergency ban in Modern, and I hope that they hold off and they don't do anything too drastic, because if Modern just goes back to the same 4 decks every single matchup, that's just not interesting to me. I mean, that's quite honestly would get me right out of the game. I mean, if you look at the Modern metagame right now, if I look at leagues, they're all over the place, and that's super interesting to me. So if I look at the last league that ran, there were 4 Eldrazi decks in first through 4th place, or 4 Eldrazi decks in the top that were 5-0. But it was red-green Eldrazi, red-white Eldrazi, blue-white Eldrazi. So like 3 different decks. I mean, people are saying it's Eldrazi. Well, I don't believe that. Then if you go to the day before, okay, 1 5-0 red-white Eldrazi, but we had a 5-0 Infect. We had a 5-0 Eldrazi Tron, a 5-0 Goblins, a 5-0 Merfolk, a 5-0 Dredge, a 5-0 White Wub, white, blue, black. I mean, Living End went 5-0 in the previous Modern League. Modern Daily, Scapeshift won, Blue-White Control, Merfolk, and then Blue-White Eldrazi, then Bogles. So, I mean, the format is diverse, it's adjusted, and I think it's better for it. I think Oath of the Gatewatch made Modern better, and it's okay to disagree with me, but I've shared my reasons why I think it's made it better. I would love to hear your reasons why you think maybe it needed to be emergency banned, or it still needs to get banned, or it's still a problem. I mean, Abzan Company is representing 6% of the meta still. Affinity, 6% of the meta. Then you go to our red-green Eldrazi, 6.7. Okay, fine. Blue-white Eldrazi, that's 15%. That's a lot, but this is not 50, 60%. I mean, there's so many different versions of Eldrazi and so many other decks that what's going to happen is sideboards are going to shift. Other decks are going to rise, like Living End, stuff like that, here and there, and you're just going to have to metagame better. It's not like the same 4 decks that you have this pre-constructed Modern deck and you go do. And I think that's great for the game. I think it's really put a lot of people in uncomfortable situations where now they have to brew, and that's awesome. So these are my thoughts on the Eldrazi menace. Ban Eldrazi, long live Eldrazi. Thanks for watching this, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Hey, before I get into this, I have a contest that's ending tomorrow. There's a pinned post on my Facebook and my Twitter where you can win simply by either liking or retweeting. Just read the post. Sponsored by Troll and Toad. You can win a Blessed versus Cursed deck. So make sure that you go check that out and you get entered, because I'm picking the winner in less than 24 hours. Good luck. Use all different kinds of content, so if you haven't yet, click on my face to subscribe. If you want to watch more videos, I've got some sweet playlists, including this one, where I open up every fat pack ever created. I've also got this one over here where I open just about anything vintage and old and expensive for your enjoyment. And all this is made possible by the awesome backers at our Patreon, which is linked in the description of every video. Hop on over there, check it out, see if it's something you might want to consider. If not, sit back, enjoy, and I'll still love you.